Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we are watching a 1v1 on Theta Crystals with Blodir versus Autopilot. So as we zoom on down to good old Blodir here, it's been a little while since we've seen Blodir on the channel, so it's nice to see them again. Currently sat at an OS of 53, really high up there on the leaderboard. Doing a good job in the 1v1 scene. Playing as Armada today. And looks like he is heading to the bot lab. Now, opposite side, we have Autopilot. We've seen them in a video not too long ago. And they are also Armada. And they are also going bots. So, whilst they go through this initial phase, if we zoom on out here, and have a look at the map quickly. Now, this map has a couple of start positions to choose from. And we're going to use Blodir's side here as the example. Because the map is mirrored. So, both players basically have the same start positions. So, you've got a position here, here. One just below Blodir's current start position. And then the position he is in right now. And we can see that both players have chosen the same start positions. And the question is, why? Why have both players chosen that? Well, Blodir's position for a comm means that he can walk the comm up to this ridge line up here, this little cliff, build the metal extractor on there, and probably also build a radar with the build range of his commander. Which is a metal point that you wouldn't normally get, but it also provides a substantial amount of radar coverage, about that-ish, that you wouldn't get from a high ground, from a other high ground, like further back and stuff. And so it's a good position to start with. We can see here the initial tick harass has not managed to come off with anything. Other than giving Blodir some intel. So nothing really of value gained from that. Another reason to start bots on this map, as you can see, there is a substantial amount of energy on this map in these crystals. Each of these crystals, that one's got 500, 350, 200. No metal, just energy. But it does mean that you can be a bit more lax with your start. Don't have to build quite so many windmills, you know. You don't have to, well, you can build a construction turret super early and not really worry about it too much. As you can see here, Autopilot done exactly what I mentioned. And as we can see here, this radar gives a good coverage. Not quite as much as I'd circled out, but still plenty of radar range, which you wouldn't get if you built further back. Now, another reason why you may choose to build in this position that we have, great bit of flanking damage there, is that with your building area so far forward, you can expand backwards fairly safely from this central position, and you can rush units from your factory pretty quickly to any of those other spots. Now the question is, yes, he did. Okay, I was going to say, did he see this single tick there? Which he did. Good little bit of tick harass here, not really doing too much, just delaying that constructor for a few seconds, causing a bit of micro to be done. Blodir's commander, actually both commanders have stayed in base this entire time. Now this tick push may actually cause some problems. Unfortunately, the explosion of the windmill actually takes out most of the ticks there. Which doesn't pay off for Autopilot at all. And we also see a Blodir tick getting a single metal extractor there of Autopilot as well. Does seem like Autopilot is starting to move his comm out, which Blodir is choosing not to. Right, well, what else are we expecting to see in this game at this still early stage? Well, no one ever uses the water. There's a big deep bit of water here. No one seems to ever use that in 1v1s. And because of that, we expect this entire middle section to basically be voided. Nice bit of harass here again. Get a metal extractor from Autopilot. That will get closed up on fairly quickly. So normally I would argue that I would expect a good bit of harass and focus mostly on the bottom side. Constructor goes down there. Blodir loses a constructor for 2 peewees, so pawns on Autopilot's side, so that's a very, very good trade. Although saying that at the same time, Autopilot just loses a constructor of his own as well, so that's not good, but basically even. He may be about to lose another one. Yep. Autopilot down 2 construction. Oh, that pawn with 1 health. Hero pawn. Yeah, sorry, as I was saying, I would normally argue that you would see a lot of movement down at the bottom. However, both players here have gone bots, which I'm going to presume that most of the fighting is going to take place around this hill, and most of the bottom is going to be static. Both players are probably going to shore up, build some static defenses. We can see Autopilot's kind of heading that direction anyway with his commander. Probably going to just build LLTs along that line and kind of shore up and wait. Great attack here by Autopilot, doing a substantial bit of wind damage here. Not able to get that much in the end, but he does get at least 4 or 5 windmills, which is a big trade considering what the damage that Autopilot has done, or been done to. We can also see here that Blodir has not gotten any res bots out yet to get any of that energy reclaim, whereas most of that energy reclaim is Autopilot has is gone. Oh, more great raiding going on in this bottom part. That pawn was too close, unfortunately, and got killed. But so far, it does look like advantage Autopilot right now. Stats wise and just general raiding wise, like so much more damage has been dealt to Blodir right now, and Autopilot is kind of scrambling to make an impact. However, we've seen quite often that just because you're winning the early game does not mean that it's going to stay that way. Blodir massively energy stalling right now. Just losing a couple of windmills here. It's not too big a deal. Autopilot, though, about to lose another constructor, and that is a big deal. Constantly losing construction bots here, left and right, for basically nothing. And Autopilot needs to shore up his flanks a bit. We can see him starting to do that now with his commander building those LLTs on that south side, as we discussed. Blodir, however, is moving to the hillside along the north and is building a fortification there. So both players basically doing the opposite of each other. Quite a substantial force has now been queued up to go down this bottom path. Little do they know that there's actually a couple of LLTs there and Autopilot's commander, which if Autopilot can get a good D-gun off, that Resurrect gets that. Oh, no, Blodir's changed his mind, redirected his forces. Still, damage done is currently in Blodir's favor, but still not quite enough. This LLT is not going to be enough to stop this force coming through. Still a substantial chunk left, 8 pawns left. Had to walk into another LLT though. No self-destructive LLTs taking place by either player. Doesn't take long for Autopilot to rebuild that LLT, although there's another massive chunk of pawns inbound. And Autopilot redirecting his comm again. Actually, his comm's a bit exposed at the moment. He's not close enough to that other LLTs. I know we can build them pretty quickly, but still, yet again losing those metal extractors that are there. These LLTs will whittle down these forces, but it doesn't take Autopilot long to rebuild some LLTs. A couple of pawns do manage to sneak through, though, yet again. We actually see a transition over to vehicles here. So it seems like Autopilot is planning on just pushing through the bottom line here. Blodir's commander moving up to the hill, planning to completely fortify that top area. Blodir doing a great job, though, at basically pressuring Autopilot. Constantly just harassing him in multiple spots, making it difficult for him to kind of, you know, contain his forces in like one area ready for an attack. And also sneakily hiding his forces behind the hill there. If you look at the player view, you can't see them. It actually has no radar on this north side either. And Autopilot constantly getting run-bys in the surrounding area, just whittling away at his expansion metal extractors. Autopilot been constantly on the defensive now for such a long time. Pushing everything in defense, constantly having to just resurrect or rebuild. And now there's just an open path actually into his base. Surprisingly, we're not seeing any Janices. I'm surprised by that. Expected Janus to deal with pawns because obviously they chase. Well, the rockets don't chase, they, you know, track a target, but still. Transition over to vehicles as well from Blodir here. Now, if we select, you can see that they actually path surprisingly well up these hills. Going up the hills is the slow part, so we can see how slow it takes them to get up this hill. But Blodir here with the high ground advantage, which, again, for those that aren't aware, plasma weapons, i.e. the stouts, have increased range on high ground. Not that it actually physically shows you here on the stats in the bottom corner, but they do have a slight range advantage when being on higher ground. As we can see by the fact that these can shoot down, but these ones can't shoot up. That's your range advantage there. Large group of forces now on the north side from Autopilot. Autopilot's army value is definitely more in favor of him right now, as we can see here. 51% bonus. It's what has Blodir been spending his metal on. Advanced energy converters. Also mistakenly wasting a constructor there, not being able to do anything for a while. Also wasted damage taken on this stout here, almost losing a stout basically for nothing. Luckily enough for Blodir's comm is still not up in that little hill. Still no Janices though from either player, just pure stouts. Blodir is confidently pushing, though, on this bottom side with a small group of stouts. Just constantly pushing along, putting pressure slowly onto that bottom side. At the moment, most of the pressure is along this northern flank, as we predicted earlier on. Oh, he's decided to go in with these units, try and cause a little bit of mayhem. Oh. Looks like he's changed his mind actually. He gets a metal extractor and then turns away. Unfortunately, he's going to have to now go up a hill, which is going to slow him down. It is going to give him, again, a range advantage over the lower stouts. As we can see here, these stouts are able to fire at the stouts on the bottom without taking any damage in return. Seems like some of these have actually been set to manual fire there. And the bottom side is slowly got some pop-up dragon claws for defense here. Maybe we'll see a little bit of artillery being sent down to the bottom side. Janus is starting to come out. 2 factories still being used here by Autopilot, which is surprising at this stage. When we look at Blodir over here is purely investing in vehicles only. This does mean, though, that he has no res bots, which there is quite a bit of resurrectable stuff along the bottom there, as we can see. Just a few units here and there that would add to his army value, which he is behind on at the moment. Again, surprised we've not got a single artillery. Setting up an artillery on this hill would give you a huge range bonus and would help him clear out this annoying corner that he can't quite get to. Some pop-up Dragon's Claws being placed on the hill, though. Would argue that Autopilot is... I don't know if he's actually got the advantage right here. He has definitely nowhere near as many stouts as Blodir has. Good push going in from the bottom, doing a little bit of damage here and then backing out. Unfortunately, does not get the Dragon's Claw, leaving it with literally free health. And a transition to Tech 2 from Autopilot. Oh, a very nice flank here taken by Autopilot, managing to get a group of 6 pawns through. Air has been spotted, and one player has chosen bombers, and the other has chosen gunships, and we are about to see generally why most people go bombers. These bombers were quite badly used. But still, done a substantial job. And meanwhile, the gunships died without actually doing anything. I may have a bias away from gunships, but still, you can see here, the gunships maybe got 2 metal extractors. The bombers got a whole cluster of energy converters and a bunch of winds. You tell me which is better. Oh, interesting choice here from Autopilot, deciding that he wants to actually go for tier 2 bots. Is that the play you would have chosen? Don't know about me. Your opponent has gone vehicle. You know he's going to probably end up going for bulls. Now, being hounds on this hill is going to be substantial. And he's going to do a great job. However, with Jaguars and all that, he's going to be able to close down on those hounds very quickly. But right now, Autopilot has successfully held that high ground for a long time. Blodir could actually see all of this because of this radar up on this hill. And that still hasn't been taken out. It's going to get taken out now by that resurrected laser turret. And finally, Blodir now with no vision over Autopilot's base, at least. Air has been completely reclaimed by Blodir and by Autopilot. Both players know that Air has run its course now. Not bothering with it anymore. And as we predicted, this bottom corner here is just completely quiet. Nothing really happening. If you had one artillery over here on a fight move, you would probably be able to clear up some of this and actually make a hole. Because if you look, there's quite a substantial hole through here. And just as I say that, actually, we see Autopilot actually attempting to go in on this corner here. Causing a bit of harass, at least. Does he have anything nearby? A single engineer that could maybe resurrect his stuff. But both players playing it fairly safe. Those res bots are dead. The first bull is out and about on the field, causing some damage. Still, it's all about holding this high ground for Autopilot. He's invested a lot into trying to just hold this high ground. Now, we don't actually see any form of like plan to finish the game from either player at this point. So kind of just how can I hold my position? Autopilot currently has the best chance with a force down here in the left. If he can try and get this force through and get around the back and do a substantial damage to the base, it's game over. Or if he tries to just go around here and take out the economy, now that's going to be a big thing as well. But he's obviously not supplying this force with any additional units, and he's just completely heavily invested into holding this high ground, which is, you know, understandable. Oh, the bull taking out a big chunk of pawns in that group there. What he could do as well is, with all these pawns, he could split them off, run them down here to field for the stouts down the bottom. We do see a bull and some more jags going down to this bottom side by Blodir, though. He might actually be looking to make a bit of a break himself, which wouldn't be a bad idea. Autopilot sneakily has these EMP metal extractors here, which he looks like he might be trying to bait Blodir into. No movement though as of yet. The hounds have just actually gotten a kill against the bull on the north side. And sniper bots actually starting to be built by Autopilot. I don't know if he's necessarily got the energy for that. No player has any Tech 2 energy production yet. No fusions at all to speak of. But Autopilot is not prepared for if we see some turtles from Blodir here, though. Unfortunately, the mine that is the Twilight gets spotted. Oh, he thinks there's not one there now, which is good. And now Autopilot is actually, his commander's in a bit of a risky spot here, because he's got no forces there really to defend, and that's going to get killed pretty quickly. Oh, that was very lucky by Blodir then. Cloaky spy bots. His commander actually also in a bit of a precarious situation here next to a huge bunch of energy converters. They are very volatile. Do not want to be standing near them. Oh, wasted EMPs. Only gets one bull and a few basic units. But here is the fight. The main fight. This is going to decide it all. Both players having to commit now. Some Mausers out to try and counter the hill. But I think this is a little too late here. Stout's doing a great job at just fielding the damage for the hounds, which are able to shoot over the top. Sniper bots just in the background, just picking off a few things that they come up across. And I don't see if he is going to be able to defend this. Although the sniper bots aren't really focusing what they should be. You could really do with the sniper bots focusing down the bulls. There we go. Not much left. He could push in now. He's getting some reinforcement units on the way. Bottom side is still a bit vulnerable, but pop-up, Tech 2 pop-up defenses now. That's going to put a bit of a hold on the attack plan there of Autopilot. I think he's going to need a bit more in order to push into that. Although the windmills actually are blocking the line of sight of the pop-ups. But I don't see how Blodir can come back from this at the moment. He needs to make some substantial damage. Again, though, no use of the water. Like, a couple of turtles just through the water here would be completely undetected, and you could go in and hit the economy for massive damage. And yet, none. Just not considered. A butler actually being used here to try and deny any resurrection. She's doing a fairly decent job. A bull versus hound is not a combo that you really want to be fighting against, but what we really need is maybe some starlights out from Blodir here to kind of counter that long range, but there's enough sniper bots here to kind of get the bulls down on low health. This is a expensive walk past here as those two Tech 2 pop-ups do substantial damage to that army. He could just move around to the left here, but he's a bit cautious about getting his army flanked. Oh, see, look how many units just died there in a clump due to the missteps and that pop-up turret. But definitely still advantage Blodir. Mauser's coming out here. Scouts are there to counter the sniper bots. We do see more air and fighters being produced here. Don't know what his plan is. Maybe some more bombers, maybe, to just try and get rid of the energy. Kind of surprised he's not just hiding these bulls behind this ridge so they can't get sniped at. Now, these Mausers do have, I think, bigger range. 820 versus 650. Yeah, Mausers do have longer range, but not as long a range as the sniper. And here we go. Autopilot's decided enough is enough. And he is making his move on the economy. He's kind of split his army a little bit. He's left some welders and sniper bots further back. And the flank of the base is now happening. Say goodbye to your base, Blodir. You would need some heroic D-guns in order to save this from destruction. And I just do not see that happening. These welders along here just trying to keep the bulls contained, keep pressure on. Unfortunately, kind of just wasting stuff. Oh, surprisingly, Autopilot does not go round the back of the base and actually decides to continue on, just denying Blodir from having any form of economy. I mean, well played to Blodir for not giving up. Like, this is a very, you know, lose-lose situation here for him, and yet he's still not giving up. And look at the speed of what he's building those Tech 2 pop-ups as well. Like, literally, as I say that though, Blodir calls GG, and Autopilot wins. Getting control of that hillside there made a huge difference, completely stopping Blodir from being able to push out. I feel like Blodir ignoring the south side is kind of what lost him the game there. There wasn't like any forces really there, and as he had vehicles, he would have had the advantage along that low ground. But, you know, it's easy to say as a spectator. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you guys next time.